Meet Ronald Reed. He was a janitor and a gas station attendant. He lived a quiet life in Vermont. When he died in 2014, the world was shocked to find he had $8 million in the bank. He didn't win the lottery, he didn't inherit it, he just saved and waited. Now meet Richard Fuscone. He was a Harvard-educated Merrill Lynch executive. He was so successful he retired in his 40s, but he spent lavishly, borrowed heavily, and when the 2008 crash hit, he went bankrupt. How does a janitor with no financial education beat a Harvard genius? Because investing is not about what you know, it's about how you behave. Today, we are breaking down the 12 most important lessons from the psychology of money. Lesson 1: No one is crazy. Your personal experience with money represents maybe 0.0001% of what's happened in the world, but it makes up about 80% of how you think the world works. If you grew up when inflation was high, you view stocks differently than someone who grew up when prices were stable. We all think we are making rational decisions, but we are actually just making decisions based on our own unique history. No one is crazy. We are just playing different games based on when and where we were born. Lesson 2: Luck and risk. Luck and risk are siblings. They are both the reality that every outcome in life is guided by forces other than individual effort. When things go well, we call it skill. When things go wrong, we call it risk. But usually it's a mix of both. Bill Gates went to one of the only high schools in the world that had a computer in 1968. That was luck. His friend Kent Evans was just as skilled, but he died in a mountain climbing accident before graduation. That was risk. Never judge your success or failure too harshly. Nothing is as good or as bad as it seems. Lesson 3: Never enough. The hardest financial skill is getting the goalpost to stop moving. Modern capitalism is a pro at making you feel like you're falling behind. But if your expectations rise with your income, you will never feel wealthy. Housel tells the story of Rajat Gupta, a man who had $100 million but wanted to be a billionaire so badly he committed insider trading and lost everything. He risked what he had and needed for what he didn't have and didn't need. Lesson 4: Confounding compounding. Warren Buffett is the greatest investor of all time. But did you know that $81.5 billion of his $84.5 billion net worth came after his 65th birthday? His skill is investing, but his secret is time. Most of us try to find the best returns, but the real wealth is built by finding good returns that you can sustain for the longest period of time. Compounding only works if you let it run for decades without interruption. Lesson 5: Getting rich versus staying rich. Getting rich requires taking risks, being optimistic, and putting yourself out there. But staying rich requires the exact opposite. It requires humility, fear, and a little bit of paranoia. You have to accept that some of your success may have been luck, so you can't rely on it happening again. The key to staying rich is one word: survival. Being unflushable. You want to be financially unbreakable so that you can stay in the game long enough for compounding to work its magic. Lesson 6: Tails you win. You can be wrong half the time and still make a fortune. In business and investing, a small number of events cause the majority of the outcomes. This is the tail event. Disney made hundreds of cartoons before they made Snow White, which changed everything. A venture capitalist might invest in 50 companies, 49 will fail, but one UBER or AI Airbnb will pay for all the rest. Don't panic when things go wrong. Your success will be defined by how you handle the few things that go right. Lesson 7: Freedom, the ultimate dividend. The highest form of wealth is the ability to wake up every morning and say, I can do whatever I want today. More than a big house or a fast car, people want control over their time. Having FU money means you don't have to take a job you hate or work for a boss you despise. Money's greatest intrinsic value is its ability to give you control over your life. Lesson 8: The man in the car paradox. When you see someone driving a $200,000 car, you rarely think, wow, that guy is cool. Instead, you think, if I had that car, people would think I am cool. This is the paradox. You use wealth to signal to others that you should be liked and admired, but those people don't admire you. They only use your wealth as a benchmark for their own desires. If you want respect and admiration, humility and kindness will get you further than horsepower. Lesson 9: Wealth is what you don't see. We tend to judge wealth by what we see: cars, houses, Instagram photos, but that's rich. Rich is current income. Wealth is the income not spent. Wealth is the optionality, the assets, and the investments that haven't been converted into stuff yet. Spending money to show people how much money you have is the fastest way to have less money. Lesson 10: Room for error. The most important part of every plan is to plan on the plan that's not going according to plan. Housel calls this the margin of safety. You need a gap between what you think will happen and what can happen while you still survive. If your investments need a 10% return to succeed, but you only have enough money to survive if they return 10%, you have no room for error. You are one tail event away from disaster. A conclusion: be reasonable, not rational. Stop trying to be coldly rational with your money. You aren't a spreadsheet, you are a human being with emotions. Aim to be reasonable. It is reasonable to pay off your mortgage even if the math says you should invest that money, because the peace of mind helps you sleep at night. The best financial plan is the one that lets you sleep. Because if you can sleep, you can stay in the game. And if you stay in the game, compounding will eventually do the heavy lifting for you.